The second time he heard the commotion, Ollie happened to be in a spot where he could come out. He was at the coffee shop just across the street from his apartment when he heard a bunch of people going, "Oh, ooh, what is that? What is that?" and generally making noises of amazement. Shh. This is... See, he had heard about this Superman sightings. Now, Ollie's seen a lot of things. Some of them explainable by natural phenomenon, some of them supernatural. But a comic book character coming to life and flying around over Baltimore, that stretched even his credulity. So he'd been hanging around. It happened to be in his neighborhood where this was happening. And so he'd been trying to stick close by and be mobile. So he'd heard some reports about it, heard some people talking about it on, next door Charles Village and things like that. But he hadn't seen it yet. So when he heard the commotion, he set down his coffee and went running toward the noise. He got around the corner. He saw a bunch of people pointing up at the sky. He followed their pointing, their gaze, and there, for all intents, it looked like Superman. He was high up there, so it wasn't, you couldn't really see any detail, but it was a humanoid figure in a blue suit with a red cape and a big sort of, well, could have been an S. It was a little hard to read from that far away. On their chest, and red trunks and red boots, and it was kind of flying around. Shh, Elsa. Elsa, hush. Superman's worn a lot of different costumes over the years. The one I just described is one of the costumes that he's worn. Ollie tried to he realized that if he'd been smart, he would have brought his binoculars, but he wasn't quite sure what he was going to be looking at. So he didn't know quite how to prepare. Next time he's going to be prepared. Well, he was staring at the Superman flying around, just like everybody else was. A police car pulled up. All I noticed, and it broke his attention from the Superman. And it was an officer, the new Officer Murphy. And I said, "Oh, hey, Officer Murphy, how you doing?" I said, "Oh, hey, Ollie, what's going on?" I said, "Oh, everyone's kind of looking at the Superman." I said, "Superman?" I said, "Yeah, look up there." Officer Murphy looked up and said, "Oh, that's weird." Well, anyway, I don't have time to look into that right now. I'm here trying to figure out what's going on with all these thefts. Oh, is it thefts? I said, "Yeah, there's been a weird rash of thefts in the neighborhood. Some of the shopkeepers and stuff. We're not..." Yeah, it's like a weird rush of thefts. We get some, petty shoplifting and stuff in this neighborhood a lot because of all the shops, but usually it's pretty not easy to catch something. It's like the same handful of people usually, or random some punk teenager or something. But what's weird is that nobody seems to have seen anything. So we decided to come down here and kind of beat the pavement a little bit, see what we could find. I said, "Okay, weird. So what shops have been hit?" Well, the bike shop's been hit twice. The bookstore, the bodega there across the street, and let me check my list here. Oh yeah, and the pharmacy here. They've all been hit. Sometimes it's little stuff, sometimes it's big stuff, but in all cases, nobody saw anything. So we're trying to figure out why. So, all right, well, if you need any help, let me know. I said, "Yeah, I think we got it, but if we get stumped, yeah, we can, maybe think about bringing you in." Right now, it's still petty theft, so we're not like super concerned about it, but it's a pattern. I said, "Yeah." Anyway, let me know what you find out about this Superman thing. So I went back to looking at Superman. I was talking to some of the people. Has anybody else seen this thing before? There's some murmuring, and one person said, "Yeah, this is like the third time I've seen it. It's pretty weird, man." I said, "Yeah, do you hang out here a lot?" I said, yeah, I work just up the street, and I can kind of do I do a lot of reading for my work, so I can kind of do it, that part wherever. So I like to come out here. I kind of like the hustle and bustle, so I'll sit here on this bench. But it's been, it's been distracting because this Superman thing keeps coming. I said, so what have you seen? It's kind of like this, you know? I mean, it just kind of shows up. I don't know. I've never seen it like arrive. I always notice it after it's already there. But it flies around for a while. Everybody stares at it. And then after about 10 minutes, it just like flies off. So does it always fly off in a certain direction or anything? That's a good question. I feel like the first time I saw it, it flew off towards the Hopkins campus. But I don't remember where it flew off the second time, but I remember the third time it flew off to the south. Or I don't know. He flew off to the south. But I don't know, the thing is, like, I don't know if it's a real Superman. I don't know if that's, like, because he doesn't move, you know, man? I said, what do you mean? Like, look carefully. Just really stare at it for, like, 30 seconds. That's all I did. Like, I did. Did you see it move? Did you see him move at all? Like, his hands, his feet, his head, anything? I said, no, now that you mention it. It's totally still, other than the fact that it was flying around. Exactly, yeah, but it itself doesn't, like, move. I'm not sure that's a real Superman. I said, huh. Interesting. And also, like, the proportions are wrong. Like, it's moving at a weird speed. I think it's smaller than it looks like it. And I think it's closer than we think it is. I said, huh. Weird. And do you know anything about all these thefts, robberies, like not pickpocketing, but shoplifting? I heard about it from some of the shopkeepers, but I haven't seen anything. I mean, honestly, I've been out here paying attention to the Superman, like everybody else. I said, huh. Okay. Interesting. So I sat there and he stared at the Superman and he thought. Like the guy said, after about 10 minutes, Superman flew off. This time flew off to the north, so there wasn't really a pattern they could work with there. So I went back and talked to that guy again. He's still there. They go, yeah, I guess the show's over. I'm back to my reading. I said, hey, how often is the Superman showing up? Oh, well, let's see. I mean, it's been going... Let's see, let me think. I come out here most days. It's been at least 3 days this week. I would say that much. I haven't actually been out here every day this week because I've had some other stuff to do, so I haven't had as much reading. But, yeah. I mean, it's only a Thursday today, and it's already been out here 3 times, so it's like here frequently. I said, all right, that gives me an idea. So I got some reading collected of his own, except that he didn't hang out down on the bench down on the sidewalk. He got in contact with the building owner that had the tall building kind of near where the Superman thing was flying. And he made arrangements to get up on the roof. The owner of the building was a little bit wary, but Ollie explained who he was and that he lived in the neighborhood and that he was a private eye and had a little license to do that kind of a thing. And the guy said, all right, I mean, I guess it seems harmless enough. And you're just going to like hang out there all day. I said, that's the plan. It's like an old school stakeout. I said, all right. So Ollie was up there, just waiting, watching. The first whole day, nothing happened. No Superman, nothing unusual. But the second day, kind of in a similar time of day, it was like around 1 o'clock in the afternoon or so. All right, stop. In came Superman. Flew in from the east. Up there, Ollie could hear and see something that he hadn't heard or seen from below. This Superman made a buzzing, whirring noise. And Ollie did bring his binoculars this time, and it was hard to tell how far away it was. But when he got focused in with the binoculars on Superman, which also again was hard also because Superman was moving around, he saw immediately what was going on, at least with the Superman. Because on the top side, sticking out, well, really, Superman was dangling, is more accurate way to put it, from some sticks. And those sticks were attached to a small drone, a remote-controlled drone. about a drone. So it's just a distraction, Ollie said. That means I've got to figure out how to follow it. Ollie realized pretty quickly that he wasn't overflowing with options. He wasn't in the tallest building in the area. He had gone on one of the buildings, near where the Superman had been flying, but the student apartment building with the Barnes & Noble on it was taller. So it wasn't like he'd be able to see it. Basically, if it went east, west, or south, he'd be able to see it for a while anyway. Marion, stop. But if it went north, he'd be sunk. So Ollie watched as it flew around, tried to think of some other way to go about it. And then he remembered. He said, I should have thought of this before. Well, but there's still time. He called his friend, Winston the Owl. Ollie, what's going on? Ollie, why are you calling me so early? He said, I know this is early for you. I know you're a night owl. Yeah, ha. What do you need, Ollie? What's up? I need some air assist. Can you come right away? Yeah, I guess. You're near your house, I'm guessing? I said, kind of. And he gave the address. I'm on the roof. Alright, I could be there in like 3 minutes. Here I come. Luckily, owls, since they don't have to put on clothes or anything like that, can get ready pretty quickly. So a few minutes later, in came swooping in. What name did I say? To the owl?
In came swooping.
Was it Winston the owl? Winston the owl, thank you. In came Winston. I said, oh, okay, so I'm guessing you want me to tail this Superman drone, huh? I said, exactly. Yeah, sure. So what do you want to know? I said, well, I think in a few minutes here, it's going to fly off. I don't know which way. Sometimes it's gone north, sometimes it's gone south, sometimes it's gone west. But I want you to tail it. Shh. And tell me where it lands. Do you want me to, catch it? I mean, I could snap that thing right out of the air if you want. Shh. No, I want to know who's flying it. Okay. I'll see what I can figure out. Excuse me. You want me some coffee after this, though, Ollie? I said I'd be happy to. So they waited. They chatted a little bit. And then, just like before, after a little while, Superman drone buzzed off, this time again, over to the west toward the Hopkins campus. Winston tipped a wing at Ollie and took to flight. Well, Elsa, stop that. While Winston did that, Ollie watched the sidewalk. He looked very carefully, watched as wide as he could. And then he saw what he thought he might see. Over across the street, coming out of, there was a cell phone store there. Somebody holding their belly in a weird way and looking all around them like there was... Coming out of one of the stores was this suspicious looking person, carrying their belly weird, like they had some things hidden underneath their shirt. Ollie realized not only should he have, possibly could Winston have been following this person instead, but he should have thought of a better way down. But he saw the person, and they ran off. They didn't full on run, I should say. But once they got out the door, they moved quickly. They were watching the crowd the whole time. The person stopped and all started climbing down the face of the building. He realized he could camouflage his way down and maybe be sneaky about it. And then he spotted there was a telephone wire they could jump to. So he watched the person carefully as he climbed down and jumped to the telephone wire, climbed across the telephone wire as subtly as he could. It's hard to hide that. He saw the person, got around the corner, and looked back at the crowd, and then picked up a phone. Said something into the phone, and then made his way back up the street. Or kept going up away from the crowd, away from the source. Ollie was moving fast across the telephone wires now. Luckily, this person was moving right underneath the same path of telephone wires. Ollie ran as fast as he could, and, even though the telephone wire with 8 legs, and Ollie's a pretty acrobatic octopus, he was able to catch up. And the person stopped at a stoplight. Ollie swung down and plopped down right in front of him. I said, "Ah!" And he jumped a little bit, and a bunch of cell phones, still in their boxes, came tumbling out of his shirt. I said, "Who are you?" I said, "My name's Ollie the Octopus. Private Eye." And he leapt all at once. And the guy was not ready for that action. So without even much of a struggle, Ollie had the guy all hog-tied up. With two arms left, Ollie called the police. Well, about the time Ollie hung up with the police, he got a call from Winston. He said, "Well, Ollie, I found your drone flyer, and I can do you one better." I said, "What do you mean?" I picked his pocket, Wally. I didn't think he was hanging out a little bit, so I took the risk. I swooped down and pretended like I was a crazed bird. He dodged me. He gave me a little bit of a swat, not enough to hurt me. But he didn't even notice, I don't think. I got his wallet. I said, "That's brilliant. Winston, you're a ninja, man." I said, "I'm not a ninja. I'm a bird of prey." So Ollie had one of the crooks. Winston got the ID on the other, and they turned it all over to the police. And pretty soon, the whole community knew that, unfortunately, Superman was not real. But a clever distraction technique had been real. But the criminals were behind bars, and the shopkeepers were safe, at least from this little team of criminals.
Did she get so it must be a remote. Did you
Yes.
did one of them get
Honey, finish the question now, please.
super man down?
Yes, Winston followed the Superman to where there was a person with a remote. I should have made that clear. So Winston followed the Superman, and it went back to a person with a remote control who was controlling it. And the person was putting it back in a box, and that's when Winston swooped down and grabbed his wallet.
And then did he should have tried to be like, so you're like,
Okay.
and then this is his jaws.
Yeah.
And then here's the Superman string.
Well, remember, Ollie didn't want him to attack the Superman drone. That wasn't what his assignment.
Why?
Okay, anyway, moving on. This is a bedtime story, not a conversation starter, girls. Shh. So Winston met back up with Ollie, and they went for a nice mid-afternoon coffee. And that was Ollie, in the case of his Superman reel.